afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young on this summery day. It's summer, it's July 26th, and believe it or not, I'm going to the hottest state in the union today, Arizona. I've never been there before for a Topic Time show, but today we have a podcaster I'm interviewing, and he's got it going on out there. He looks, when he's sitting in that room, it looks quite cool. I hope he has air conditioning so he doesn't pass out during the interview. It's about 118 degrees where he is. But we'll talk all about that, and we're going to talk about his situation, his podcast, and what he does. He was referred to me by one Darren Paltowitz, who was an amazing podcaster on Ritchie, Long Island, whom I interviewed from my eastern location about 4 months ago. But before I get to him, I've got to read these incredible underwriters. Yeah, and by the way, his name is Chuck Shute. Very easy name to remember. It's 2 syllables. Okay. So we have Rodney's Kitchen in Halifax. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have a new one, Carver Vape and Smoke, right down the road on 80 Main Street in Carver, down the road from here. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Bulldog Sports Cards in Middleborough. We got La Bamba Tacos and Tequila Mexican Restaurant in Plymouth. We got Fiesta Chara, family Mexican restaurant here in Carver, right down the road. Same family. We got South Shore Market in Pembroke. We got Hanover House of Pizza in Hanover. They make great Sicilian pizza, Greek salads, have awesome people and deliver. We have in Hanover, they got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got the Auto Shop in Hanover, Ed Rooney, thank you. We got the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough. We got DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington, right up the road here on Route 58. We got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover, and we got Pals Driving School in Middleborough. Checking the website for classes from October and December, I believe, and if October's filled up, then December. So guys, thank you very much. Now officially, Mr. Chuck Shute, how you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Great. Okay. So you have a podcast and you do it in your home, right? Is it you do it out of your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is where you are now. And I'm looking at the background behind you, and it looks very colorful. You have like, you look like you're a curator of some kind. You have like either a bookstore or a book/record store. That's kind of what your background looks like, because it looks like you have a record, like an old 33 LP record on you over your right shoulder, and over your left shoulder you have a bunch of what looks like classic comic books and regular books. Just the kind. I mean, you look like you got a store. You got kind of like a little variety store that you have there for people, for browsing people. Is that what do you?
Yeah, I try to make it interesting. I change it up depending on the guests that I'm having. But yeah, I can put different books and stuff to kind of promote, just like talking pieces or whatever. Try to like promote books or bands. Like I had a couple guys from Warren on the show. This is my dad's book and stuff like that. Just try to help out bands I like and such. Just make it a little interesting, other than just a plain wall. I don't know.
No, I understand. It does. It looks great. Well, tell me about the people you have interviewed on your podcast. Just, are they like my show, like for my show, are they, a lot of them are entertainment, are they, or regular people, or you just, give me a little synopsis.
Yeah. I mean, I think it started out like the first one I had was a comedian, then I had a musician, and then, and so the musicians, like a lot of the 80s musicians, people really gravitated towards that. So I did a lot of those. I still do a lot of those, but I try to branch out and do authors. And, I just had yesterday, I had this guy, he was a Secret Service and now he does security for bands and stuff. So just try to find interesting people that, it just, there's no, it's just the podcast is just my name, Chuck Shute Podcast. So it's not like rock talk where it's all music, or entertainment talk where it's all entertainment. It could be literally anything, but it's ends up being a lot of musicians, a lot of comedians, some actors, and a lot of authors and other experts and things like that.
Yeah. Same here. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, tell me now what I'm going to do is profile you. Tell me about your life as a kid. You don't look too old. You look about 34, if that, I'm guessing. So what were you like as a kid? Did you grow up out there in the Phoenix area?
I didn't actually. I grew up in, so I don't know if you could tell, I got like a Mariners, I got like a Seahawks thing here.
Seattle. Okay.
In Seattle. Yeah. So I moved here when I was about 30. And I just got sick of the weather. I'm sure it's probably similar in Massachusetts. Is it a lot of overcast and gray skies?
Not today. Today's pretty windy. Well, yes, yes. Well, it doesn't snow in Seattle, does it?
Sometimes, yeah. Not often. There's a lot of times it'll go like 3 or 4 years of no snow, and then they'll get a big snowfall. It's pretty random, but no, it doesn't. It's not. If it does snow, it's like a week or two. Not very often.
I hope you're not still mad at us for the 2015 Super Bowl. I'm a big sports fan too.
Oh God, that was rough. Yeah, that Yeah, that was rough. I mean, it was
great for us. We were watching that thing and we were thinking, hey, this is going to be another So,
Well, the only saving grace was like, I was in Arizona and we were thinking the Super Bowl is in Arizona. So we're thinking of going.
okay, that's right. Yep,
It was like, $1,500 tickets. I'm glad I didn't spend the money on that ticket because that would have been even worse to be at the game and see
It's
that
almost
live.
like you had a vibe to say, don't go this year because
Yeah.
you're not going to win.
Or maybe if I was there, I would have been loud enough that I would have made a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, but the year before, you must have been elated.
Yeah.
I mean, they totally kicked butt over Denver.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was rare. The first
Over
Super
Peyton
Bowl
Manning, I
in
think.
history. Yeah. I didn't know
Wow.
if I'd ever see them win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. I mean, you just don't understand how bad the Seahawks were in the 80s. They were terrible.
I remember when I don't know if you're old enough to remember their inaugural year, but I do. I was in high school, my senior year, 1976. If you were born, I don't know if
I
you.
wasn't even born yet. Yeah, the earliest I remember was like when I was a kid in the 80s. And like, I remember, I think it was either Dave Craig or Jim Zorn, and they
Yeah.
weren't very good, but they were exciting. They were, they'd throw Hail Marys and stuff, and it was fun. It was a good time.
I know. Well, that's the great thing about sports. Sometimes, you mostly get dung, but sometimes you get ice cream, meaning, most of the times your teams go down the slide and then they come and then it's too bad you're not old enough to remember the 1979 Seattle. I can't even think of it's not the Seahawks. What's the name of the team that won the NBA team? I can't even think of it.
Sonics?
The Sonics. Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, we
They
don't
won
even have them anymore, but they're talking about getting them back. So
Yeah, I know. Seattle must be a great sports town. All right. Well, how long have you been living in Arizona for then? I guess you've been there almost at least around about 8 years because you said you were in Arizona in 2015, and which is 8 years ago.
yeah, no, it's nice that you think I'm 34. I'm actually 45. I've lived here like
Wow.
15 years, which is crazy to say out loud. But yeah, I moved in 2008. Remember, like right when the real estate crash happened. So
Yes, I do. Everything
my
crashed
house
in
at the-
2008.
yeah, I sold my house at the perfect time. I quit my job at the worst time. But yeah, I moved here and I've loved it since. I just love the way. I know it's like hot as hell right now, but like you said, I'm in air conditioning, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't-
It looks nice and cool. You got your short
Yeah.
sleeves on. You're not sweating.
Yeah.
I'd be sweating if it was 118 degrees, and I'm thin. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so did you bring your family with you? Were you by yourself? Do you have wife, kids, and all that, or just
a girlfriend that I met down here. Actually, my parents, they have a place in Arizona too, and they go back
Okay.
and forth. So I see them when they're down here in the winter and stuff. Yeah.
Well, my parents have been to Sedona, and they love it. That's the part of the state that never gets screwed, that never has problems with weather, right? It's supposed to be like one of the nicest weather climates year round in the country.
Yeah, it's definitely more mild. It's very beautiful, like red rocks. Like if you go there, it's like you're on another planet. It looks like
Yeah,
Mars
yeah.
or something. Like it's you got to Google it, but if you haven't never seen it.
Well, I
but
have. I've seen pictures, and my parents
Yeah.
have sent back pictures and stuff. All right, well, let's talk about how did you get into the podcast thing? How did that start?
I mean, I think it probably started like in college. I remember doing like college radio.
Okay,
and
where
just
did you go to
going, "Oh,
college?
wow." It was a small school called Central Washington University. It's like an hour and a half outside of Seattle.
Okay,
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember going there and I was like, I did that for like a year. And I think it was just kind of always in the back of my mind. I liked that kind of stuff. And I,
Yeah.
done some other stuff. I did a little stand-up comedy, things like that. But then when I started interviewing guests, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And so then I just, started this show and it just took off.
yeah.
Sort of, I guess in some ways
Have
it
you
hasn't
had-
taken off enough, but
Tell me, I mean, if you have people that that are household names on, and if you haven't, that's fine because everybody, we're all working our way toward better things, doing what we do, and doing a show like ours is the art of conversation, basically. And it's not so much who you interview; it's the style of interviewing, and and whether the conversation is interesting is what floats you in this situation. And doing what we do. So
sure,
tell me
yeah,
about
no,
that.
yeah, I've had a few. I mean, I've had like, what is it, like 360 guests and of
Okay.
different levels of fame. I mean, I had like David Duchovny. I mean, that was a big
I
one. He
know.
was-
Wow, that's huge.
yeah, Billy Bob
The
Thornton.
X-Files.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton. He's won an Oscar, so that was a big one. Actor Eric Roberts. I don't know if you remember him.
I do.
Yeah, I've had Ann Wilson from the band Heart.
Yeah,
Darren
wow.
helped me get.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're from
Darren,
Seattle.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Darren helped me
Wow.
get Jackie Martling from the Howard Stern show.
Oh, I love it. I could tell you one of his jokes, but we might be censored. I could tell you several.
Yeah. Comedian Mark Norman, who just dropped a special yesterday on Netflix, New York comedian, really funny guy. I had him on he did it probably right before he really broke big, because now he's way too big to do my show. But yeah, so I've had a few big ones like that, and that's always fun. But sometimes the ones that are not as famous are even more fun.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sarah Silverman on, have you?
No, have you?
No, but she's my cousin.
Really?
Yes.
And she won't do your show?
Well, if she, I don't know if she won't. She hasn't to this point. She knows about it. If you know, obviously the door is always open for her to do it if she wants to. Hopefully she'll see this one and want to do it. Or she know, well, you know, Darren, who worked with, or Darren met my cousin Laura Silverman. That's Sarah's sister, who's an actress as well and a comedian.
Wow.
And you may have seen her on some TV shows. She was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Larry David Show. She was on. She had a continuously starring role in The King of Queens.
I love King of Queens. Wait, what's her role in King of Queens?
Remember, she was Dawn. She played Dawn in Carrie's office. You know, Carrie, the wife, had this. That she was the paralegal, and Dawn was the coarse redhead girl who was always whining. But yeah, if you watched enough of the episodes, she was in a lot of them.
Yeah, we're actually rewatching that right now. That's funny that you mentioned that. That's wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which one Dawn is, though, the redhead. Yeah, there's so many characters on that show, but I'll double check. I know I'll recognize it.
Come up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very cool. Wow.
Yeah, it is. I know. Well, I mean, listen, she's good at what she does. I'm good at what I do. And hopefully at some point, you know, we can combine the two. Adam Bush wants to do my show, said he likes my show. I don't know. You know, he knows Darren. They're pretty good friends. Adam Bush, who was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
The TV show with
I think so, yes.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Well, I'm not sure if it was the one with her or it might have been a more recent one.
Oh, okay.
But I know when I saw when we just hooked up on Facebook and I saw him and I remembered, I'm like, oh yes, I know who this person is. He told Darren he liked my show. I don't know if I'll get him on. I hope I do. But so how busy? Tell me about how busy is your schedule? How many interviews a week do you do? How many shows a week do you do usually?
It depends. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 and sometimes it's 0. So it just depends. Like I try to do like 2 or 3 a week. I think that's a good number for me. 4 or 5 is like pushing it. I can do it. When I don't have any, when I have 0, it's like, man, it's like, that sucks. And that's rough. But sometimes you're just waiting to hear back from these people and you're sending out tons of inquiries and just nobody wants to do it for whatever reason. And so, you just have those bad weeks. But right now, yeah, it's like around 2 or 3 a week usually.
Well, you know, it's interesting because what is your MO for getting guests? Are you on Facebook? Just reach out to them like that on social media.
Oh yeah, man, I try everything. I try Facebook.
That's a pretty big guest already. What you told me, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like dealing with the publicist that I'm sure Darren has talked to you about. Like Darren's in with a lot of publicists, way more than me. But you get on these emails, these publicity emails, and then you just pick and choose. Or, a lot of times I'll see like my friend will have a guest on and be like, hey, how'd you get that guest? Oh yeah, here's the email. It's a lot of that kind of stuff too that helps out.
Okay. Well, I'm on Facebook and I reach out. I have over 4,000 friends and I reach out to people every day. And as a result, like I said, I'm having my 13th anniversary on August 18th. I began the show August 18th of 2010 at a different location. And I did it for the first 4 years there. And then I get on Facebook. And what I do is I just reach out to people every day. I used to worry that I'd run out of people to interview. Now I don't worry about that anymore because from what so many people like yourself, word of mouth and stuff have found me or have been referred to me. And now, now I found 2 new guests today that were just from Facebook. People I didn't even know before.
That's great.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. There's never a shortage of guests. There's so many people in the world and so many people doing interesting things, writing books and making videos and documentaries and actors and musicians, and it never ends.
And they want to tell their story. And all you got to do is just be there for them and let them know, hey, you want to tell your story, tell it to me, and look at all the, we'll get a lot of hits for it. Even if you BS it, at least you got to sell it. You got to, man, this is what I do every day. I'm on my phone constantly, just reaching out. I have no qualms about if I see it. I admit it. I have a weakness. I like attractive girls. I have a lot of them on the show. And when I see an attractive girl on Facebook, I say, hey, you want to be on my TV show Topic Time? Now, remember, if you see my Facebook page, the first thing that appears is hosting my great TV talk show Topic Time with Harrison Young. So if the girls if the girl thinks I'm a loser or a creep or something, she doesn't have to talk to me. But if she says, wait a minute, a TV show, what's this? If she clicks on my face, she'll say, this guy hosts a TV show. I share my show shamelessly to get more views. And then, and then she says, okay, well, I guess he really does have a show. So, and believe it, it's a small percentage of people that compared to the ones that I reach out to that actually do it. But because I reach out to so many, I'm able to, pretty much get guests every week.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, isn't it? It's all it's like a sales thing, really. It's like
it is.
That's
it's
what I
exactly
think people
right.
don't understand. Oh, it's easy. You just meet a guest and you talk to them, and it's like there's so much more involved in it than that. Just getting the guest is such a process in itself, as you know.
Well, it is, but I've been doing it so long. It's like it's old hat. This morning when I woke up, I had no guest scheduled for next week. Now I have 2 guests for because I do 2 shows a week usually Wednesday here and Thursday in Easton, Mass, the town of Easton. So I said to myself this morning, I says, okay, I know I can do 2 shows next week, but I don't have any guests. What do I do? Well, there's the inbox Facebook. I'll talk to who looks interesting here. Oh, he looks interesting. Okay, hey, I want to do my sure. And then she looks interesting. First, she said, what did you call me for? I don't know. And I go, well, I host this TV show. And she goes, okay, I'll do your show. And then now I get 2 guests, just like that.
Boom. Nice.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, tell me about your stand-up comedian gigs. What were those like? I mean,
God. It was mostly just open mic stuff. I took a class in Seattle. I was like, because I was really into comedy. So I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. And you see some bad comedians and then you think like, I could do better than this guy, but that's another thing that's really hard. I have a lot of respect for comedians. I guess I just don't really have the time or the interest right now to kind of pursue that as much, but, I love having comedians on the show and having discussions. Yeah. That's really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. Well, now when you pick people to interview, are you fussy? Because I'm not fussy about the people I interview. I mean, as long as they don't do things that I think are in poor taste, I'll have anybody on. I mean, I had a water vendor on once because I needed a guest in a pinch a bunch of years ago, and he was the only one that was available.
But he was what? What did he do?
A water vendor. He sold, if anyone ever says to you, try this water, it's healthy. They put this he was a water filter salesman, actually.
Okay.
So they'll tell you, put this water filter on your tap and see how great this water is. It's the healthiest water, and it usually tastes like crap. But that's the guy I had on my show one time when I needed a guest in a pinch, and he was available. He gave me a T-shirt, and we had a pretty good interview. I don't know.
That sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. You don't worry. You don't say to yourself, okay, who am I getting? You don't want to just talk yourself down into to say to yourself, well, if I can't get a comedian or a musician this week, then I don't want to do the show. You get anybody with an interesting story to tell and engage them. That's what you do. Like I'm engaging you right now. I hope I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, no, I hope that people are enjoying watching it. It's I'm having fun.
Good, as long as you're having fun. All right. Yeah. Have you ever done anything like in other forms of entertainment? You done music? Have you done sports? Anything like that?
No, not really. I love watching sports. I'm not very playing them. I play guitar for a little bit, but no, I wasn't very good at that either. Unfortunately, I'm more just like, I was really into psychology. So I think for me, like this is like talking to people is kind of the best use of my skills. Unfortunately, I don't have the comedy and the acting and all that. So I mean, I've dabbled with all that stuff, but I realize I'm like the people that do that are so talented that it's just hard to compete.
Well, see, that's just it. You got to be cocky about this. I'm telling you. I know it sounds annoying, but that's what. I have to admit, I'm very cocky about my show and about getting people on. And I boast openly on Facebook about how great the show is and about how, listen, you got to worship me or else. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I just say, and I admit it. I shove it down people's throats because that's the only way that you're going to keep it going. And it's worked because it's gotten me so many. I mean, a year ago, I got profiled last year by these podcasters in New York, and I didn't even see that coming. But there was a guy in Providence, Rhode Island, who loved the show. He had connections. He works at one of the local TV stations. He sent clips of he did my show on my 12th anniversary last year on August 18th of 2022. And then he sent clips of my show to these podcasters. And then one day I was looking for a show, and I saw this, who are these podcasters? And it's me. And they were profiling me. And now I got 11,000 new followers from that.
Wow. That's a lot.
So a year from now, who knows what's going to happen because of what I'm continuing to do.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm like setting goals. I'm really all about the YouTube right now. I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. Are you on YouTube?
Of course. Well, the show's on my TV stations put the show on their YouTube channels, and then then they all kind of like met. We mingle them together.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So the show today will be on Area 58. Ordinarily, I would have had you do a Facebook plug and tag me in the post before you did the show. But because you were a fill-in guest, I figured it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made as much sense as if I had scheduled you a week ago, because that's usually the way it works. If I schedule someone a week ahead of time, which is what I try to do, like the girl I thought I was going to have one from Arkansas today, and I don't know, her number didn't even work when I tried to call her yesterday. Then I had her do a plug, or I would have had, if I scheduled you a week ago, I would have had you do a plug, and then I expect we would have gotten a lot of good feedback for that, saying, "Oh, you're going to be on that show. Congratulations!" And that's yeah, I admit part of it's my ego. I love seeing that on Facebook, but it also gets us views. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to get as many views as possible, even if you continue to share the show shamelessly, because you want people to watch them.
Yeah, it's competitive out there. A lot of shows, a lot of podcasts, a lot of TV shows, a lot of TikTok, even, just a lot of people vying for your attention.
Have you written anything at all? Have you done any journalism, or have you ever written any? Have you ever done any about artwork, designing maybe comics? You look like a guy that could design comic strips. You ever done that?
No, I wish. No, I love it. I've been trying to write a book. I probably have like 70, 80 pages of this book that I've been working. It's kind of like a lifelong thing, though. I'm just trying to like gather a lot of the advice that I've gotten from interviewing people and kind of put this all down in a book.
Okay.
And, put that out at some point. But yeah, right now I'm just still focused on the YouTube channel. That's kind of like taking up all my time. I'm just really trying to build that as much as I can, trying to think of different ways, not just interviews, but doing other things like, hey, let me do like a short story about this musician, and it'll just be me talking. I'll show some pictures and see, and some of those videos do really well. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, your YouTube channel, is it all you? Do you have anyone helping you with it, or do you do it by yourself?
No, it's all me. Yeah, it's just me.
Okay.
Yep. Now, to get a producer, that would be a goal to have at some point. I think when it makes sense, like if I have enough followers or subscribers that, for a producer to come on, that it's going to make sense for him. Because right now it's probably not enough subscribers to for someone to come on and split the profits. There's not a lot there, right?
Well, have you talked to anybody? Do you have? I mean, did you? Now you mentioned psychology. Did you take any psych courses when you went to college in Seattle?
Yeah, I got a bachelor's in psych, and then I stayed on and I got my master's, and I was a counselor for 17 years in the schools. So I worked with kids and stuff and doing counseling, and I worked with all the families and stuff like that. I, heard a lot of like heartbreaking stories. And so now I do, what's that?
Well, yeah, I said, yeah, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. It's just like now it's like so depressing, a lot of that. And then now it's like so much more uplifting to talk to people that are living their dreams and, being a famous musician or actor or whatever, author, they got something to promote. There's something excited about it. And it's a totally different conversation. It's more fun.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking, because I wrote a couple of books myself, self-published. Maybe you could write a book about being a counselor that found the story so depressing that you couldn't do it anymore. I bet that would sell. I bet that would sell off the charts, off the shelves.
Yeah, that's definitely. That's probably on the horizon too. Like a story about my life, even just, would be, I think everybody's life is interesting, as like even,
yes.
Probably the water salesman probably has an interesting story. He's probably got some life that, that he's lived and stories to tell, and how he got into that field and why he likes it. And all that stuff's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's right. I always say everybody has an interesting story to tell, and if you engage them correctly, and by correctly, I don't mean you have to be a smooth talker like Joe Rogan. He's the king of the podcast right now. He's got it all. He gets 1 million plus hits for every show he does. He can go the distance. He can do an interview with somebody, he can do anybody for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. I don't know if we'll ever fill his shoes, but we got to do the best we can and just try to enjoy it.
Yeah. Just have a good time.
Yeah, obviously your YouTube channel must be doing okay. If and you shouldn't even worry about how many subscribers. Just try to reach out to people and get them to talk to you. You should definitely try to do at least 1 or 2 shows a week if you can. If you can, and like again, don't set the bar high. So there's got to be somebody that's that's one of the above, a musician, an author, an artist, or something. Just let it be someone. Like you said, you got to, like we said, we agreed. We find something interesting in everybody's life, and just say, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find it interesting. Yeah, like my girlfriend had good advice. She's like, you should either only have guests on that you're interested in, or that have a lot of like followers or fans or whatever. And that so far, that formula's worked out well.
Well, actually, it does, to be honest with you, it sounds like obviously the people you're interested in is great, but don't say because they have, I understand. Obviously, you want to get you think it's. Listen. I got sort of a friend who lives up in Lowell, Mass, and he's interviewed some pretty big people. He's interviewed Dan Aykroyd. He's of Saturday Night Live years ago. You remember, that.
Wow.
Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan. He's interviewed John Hurley of Seinfeld, and so has Darren. And yet, even though he's he's living in Lowell, Mass. Lowell's kind of a rundown city north of Boston. And he's not out in LA doing big interviews. And I think he wanted to coagulate with me on some of my interviews. And I said, Bob, listen, you got to get yourself, you got to roll it yourself. I can't help you with, getting other guests. You got to get them yourself. You've gotten people I'll probably never get near. So, I mean, so obviously you don't even worry about getting me helping you. Just do your own thing and I'll do mine. And on that note, we're under 5 minutes. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast.
Okay, now here's in the remaining time, what I want you to do, like I said, is give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because I know you're gonna have a lot of views for this between my TV station and your YouTube page. I expect we're gonna get some good escalation. So go ahead, just condense.
All the people, definitely.
Not all of them, just name a few, and the rest of we'll forgive you if you don't mention them.
Yeah, Darren Paltrowitz, Clint Schweitzer, Matthew Thomas, Steve Cooper, Stefan Adika, my girlfriend Dana Thompson. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
That's great. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, what does she do, by the way? Is she part of your podcast ever?
No, but she does work at a TV station. She works at the local NBC affiliate. Just works in like the sales department. So yeah,
maybe we can get her on as a guest. I actually interviewed a guy from Dallas a few months ago, right here at Area 58, who sells for who does what do you call it? Like he sells for iHeartRadio, makes media sales for them.
Oh, okay.
Salespeople on the show, because they always have interesting tales to spin.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll ask her. Yeah, sure.
Well, ask her definitely. We can get her right there if she wants. All right. Now, is there anything coming up on the horizon before we wrap the show up that you want to mention real quick? If not, that's fine. But I just want to make sure you didn't forget anything.
Oh, I mean, my YouTube channel, it's just Chuck Shute on YouTube. Shute is SHUTE. Check that out. Subscribe. There's lots of all the podcasts and interviews I've done, and some other content, live stuff, news breaks, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah.
Okay. All right. If you had a good time with me, anybody, your girlfriend or anyone else that might be an interesting guest for my show, you got my digits, have them text me, call me. We'll get them on the show either in person or by Zoom.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I got tons of podcaster friends and musicians, comedians, all sorts of stuff. So yeah.
Let's have a meeting then. More
right.
show, more interviews. And if I find anyone for you, I'll send them your way. All right. One last favor. When we wrap the show up, would you mind sticking around? My tech guy will take pics on Facebook and I'll tag you. I'll make sure that we're friends.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Chuck, great job. All right, we're going to wrap the show up. All right, folks.
All right.
Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you next time with another great show. Have a great week. Take care.